Hello, boys and girls. My name is Jeroen. If that is too hard for you to pronounce, you may call me either Jay or Jerry. This time a completely different kind of video. You are used to see me play games and probably hear me give comments about it in either English or Dutch. And there is one in which I'm trying to do it in German. So Germans, you may wait a while and have a laugh about my German if you like. But this time I am more going into a kind of information video. Have you ever wondered where the name the Netherlands comes from and how some Dutch areas, cities, provinces got their names? Well, in this video I will explain a few names of the country itself and some other areas of which I actually know the origin of their names. I can't speak for the entire Netherlands. That would be pretty much to remember. I will also take a few parts of Belgium as well. That is because Dutch is the most common spoken language there. French and German are also official languages there, by the way. I will go more into the deep of this. Well, let's come along, shall we? Well, of course, let's start with the name the Netherlands itself. I guess it's only obvious that the name came from ancient Dutch, which is not spoken today anymore. Most city names are derived from ancient Dutch. I guess that's obvious. The original name under which the Netherlands was founded was de Republiek der Zeven Verenigde Nederlanden, which translates to English as the Republic of the Seven United Netherlands. Of course, later the Netherlands would officially be turned into a monarchy, and since then it has become het Koninkrijk der Nederlanden, which translates to the Kingdom of the Netherlands, and that has been the official name to at least the date that I was recording this video. I can't look into the future. Of course, that explains the Republic and the Kingdom part, but that does not, of course, explain the part Nederlanden, of which the English name Netherlands has been derived. Well, that is actually easy. Neder means low in ancient Dutch. So basically, it's de Republiek der Zeven Verenigde Nederlanden would actually translate to the Republic of the Seven Lowlands. And of course, the Netherlands, I won't say that it doesn't have mountains at all, but there are only a very small amount of mountains, and the mountains we do have are not exactly high, and most of the country is even below the sea level. So I guess the name of the country itself is only very obvious. Now, if you wonder why the English call the citizens of the Netherlands the Dutch, and of course the name of our language, the Dutch language, that is derived from the language that was spoken at the time that the Netherlands was founded, and that would be the language Diets, which is basically the ancient form of Dutch. That language isn't spoken anymore and has been replaced by modern Dutch, which is in Dutch called Nederlands, in which you hear the name of our country. But in English, the original name somehow remained. So it actually confuses a lot of people, since of course the German name for Germany, Deutschland, may also have its history in the word Dietz. And this has been one of the founding languages that has been one of the many languages that would in the end be the basis for the current German language, as far as I've been told. But actually the English name Dutch for the citizens and the language of the Netherlands might historically be more accurate as far as I could find out, but perhaps people have a full explanation. I'd like to hear about that one. And then, of course, the name Holland. Well, first of all, I must get one misconception about Holland out of the way. Many people think that Holland is just another name for the Netherlands. It's not. Holland is only the west coast part between the northern island of Texel and the southern island of Goeree-Overflakkee. The isles themselves are included in Holland, and the rest of the Netherlands is not part, and that is not even half of the country. Therefore, I can also say that the Netherlands does border to Germany and Belgium, but Holland borders to neither Germany nor Belgium. Good thing to know. But of course, where does the name Holland come from? Well, a popular theory, which is, by the way, said to be incorrect, says that it would be derived from holle land, which literally translates to hollow land, which is, of course, given the shape of the Netherlands being below the sea level, a very obvious theory. But like I said before, from what I know, this theory is not correct. The real reason that Holland got its name is said that ancient Dutch had the word holt, meaning wood, and that Holland actually became great due to the production of wood. So basically, that would make it Holt land, which would translate to wooden land. And I've been told that that is where the name Holland is derived from. Of course, those who paid attention to the map of Holland that I showed saw that yellow was North Holland and red was South Holland. And yes, it has been divided in two areas. And why is that? Well, that has a political reason. The Netherlands has been divided into provinces, and on this map you see them all. And you can already see that when North Holland and South Holland would be one province, that they would actually be the biggest province of the entire Netherlands. And also given that the Randstad area, basically the economic heart of the Netherlands, is located in Holland for most part. There was just some fear that Holland would have by far more power than the other provinces. And basically that is the reason why it has been split into. That is basically all there is to it, or at least as far as my information goes. If I'm wrong, well, okay, then come up with another theory then. The province of Zeeland is actually very extremely obvious how it got its name. Zee means sea in Dutch, and basically it's much of a group of islands completely surrounded by sea, except of course for the border with the province of North Brabant, which you see on this map. What you don't see on this map is that the most southern border of Zeeland is not sea, but that is actually bordering with Belgium. But for all others, it's all sea between them, and so sea, land. And of course, now I hear people ask about New Zealand. Yes, it was named after the Dutch province of Zeeland. The Dutch name is actually New Zealand. As far as I know, New Zealand was discovered by the Dutch traveler Abel Tasman. So, yes, the country New Zealand was named after this province. North Brabant, that is the province where I live. Where does the name come from? Well, North is simply because there is also a Brabant in Belgium, which is south of us. Since this province lies to the north of that, that is why Noord was added to it. Most Dutch people just leave that Noord out of it. And if we talk of the Brabant in Belgium, then we mostly say Belgisch Brabant, Belgian Brabant. That is quite obvious. But where does the name Brabant come from? That is from a very old name. I don't know what the name of the language is in English, but the name is Pagus Bracbatensis. Yeah. The first syllable seems to be unclear where it came from, but historians think that it is derived from Braca, which appears to mean new land, or with Brac, which means soaky land. The second syllable, band, appears to mean area. So that is basically where the name of my province comes from, and that is where I will leave it to the provinces, as I have never sorted out the others, but perhaps I could go into the deep of them in a more in-depth video if you like, and then I will go into far more research than I did for this video, as this is just an experimental video. Let me know in the comments below. Amsterdam, well, of course, the Dutch capital, it should not be missing in this list, and coincidentally I know the origin of its name. First of all, one important message, the I Amsterdam sign that you see on this picture. Whoever wants to come to Amsterdam in order to find it and to photograph him or herself with it, spare yourself the trouble, as by order of the current mayor, who happens to be a complete idiot, it has been removed. But that is not important. Of course, the question is where the name Amsterdam came from. Well, that is Amsterdam was built around the river called Amstel, and it had a dam in it, and it was built around the Amstel's dam. In ancient Dutch, that would become Der Amsterdam, or Der Amsterdam. That is the more correct pronunciation. I mustn't mix it up with German. Well, Der Amsterdam, you could already hear a bit that would, in the end, shorten a bit for easier pronunciation to Amsterdam, Amsterdam, and well, that is what the name is today. And I guess the name Rotterdam is with that also explained, the dam in the river Rotter. And yeah, well, same story actually. Now, not all cities with dam in it have their name this way, but quite a lot. You can basically safely assume that. 'S-Hertogenbosch. Yeah, that is really how you pronounce it. Try to say it after me. 'S-Hertogenbosch. Although the city is also commonly known as Den Bosch. The name is actually Folly, ancient Dutch. And it basically, I can basically break it down. The apostrophe S comes from the article des, which is in the second case, which cases are not very common in the modern Dutch language, although the second case still lingered in quite a lot of phrases. And basically means that the noun coming next is the someone or something having something else in their possession. Hertog means duke in Dutch, and duke then I mean a nobleman with a noble title. And the en has also to be added to hertog in this case due to the second case rule of ancient Dutch. And bos means woods or forest in Dutch. In modern Dutch, it's only written with an S at the end. In ancient Dutch, it's written with SCH at the end. Pronunciation remained the same though. So basically, the name 's-Hertogenbosch means the forest of the Duke, or the Duke's forest, whatever you like. And another city that will pass by later in this video may already be explained from the start, but let's wait a while longer with that one. Breda. Well, welcome to my hometown and also the town where I was born. Of course, where does the name Breda come from? Well, Breda is a town located in the south of the Netherlands, close to the Belgian border, and two rivers actually pass through it. The one river is called the Mark, and the other is called the A. Now remember the A. At Breda, the Mark would join with the A. The A is otherwise a very narrow river, but after the Mark joins with it, it gets widened, which is in Dutch verbreden. And then it would be Verbrede A, which would eventually be shortened to Brede A, which just means wide A. And, well, out of laziness, it must be shorter and shorter and shorter until it would eventually end up as Breda. Bergen op Zoom. Yeah, well, that is, for anyone who speaks the Dutch language, a very easy one to explain. It literally translates to mountains on edge. Well, bergen means mountains, op means on, and zoom means in this case edge. If you look at the location of Bergen op Zoom, it is actually located to the coast of the southwest of the Netherlands, and it is practically built against the Oosterschelde, so basically the edge between land and water. And, well, apparently there are some mountains, most likely only hills, but let's call that mountains, must be close there, and hence the name of the city. Prinsenhagen. Well, I'm not going to break down all neighborhoods in Dutch cities, but this one is a very interesting one, as it is actually named after Prince William of Orange, the founding father of the Netherlands. So this name is indirectly a part of Dutch history as a whole. Let's break down the name. Prinsen is second case of the word prince, which just means prince, and Hagen is Old Dutch. In modern Dutch it's Haag, and that means Hague. Hey, perhaps you already know where we're going to next. But let's wait until that one. Originally, it was a small village known as Het Aagje, which is the local dialect for the Little Hague. And it has been said that William of Orange liked to be there, hence it's being named after him, Prinsenhagen. The Hague. We Dutch commonly call it Den Haag, and the official name is Schravenhagen. Before I'm going to break down the name, The Hague is one of the few Dutch cities that I know of that they have a different name in the English language, which is already something remarkable. Of course, the Dutch capital is Amsterdam, but the Dutch government is actually seated in The Hague. And on this picture you can also see the small building. I will put a red ellipse around it. In Dutch we call that het torentje, which means the little tower, which is actually the office of the Dutch Prime Minister. Well, enough about that kind of background knowledge. Let's now discuss where the name Schravenhagen, which is the official name for The Hague, comes from. Well, it is basically the same kind of story as with Prinsenhagen and with 's-Hertogenbosch. The apostrophe S comes from the article des, denoting the second case. Graven is the second case ancient Dutch form of the noun graaf, which means count in the sense of the noble title count. And Hage is ancient Dutch for Hague, in modern Dutch Haag. So basically it means the Count's Hague, or the Hague of the Count. It's just how you want to fill it in. And then, of course, let's leave the Netherlands, like I said at the start of the video, and let's go to Belgium. Belgium is, of course, a country south of the Netherlands. It used to be part of the Netherlands until it split off. Despite it being a young country, its name actually dates back to the time of the Romans. Let me first pronounce the name Belgium in the 3 official languages spoken in Belgium. In Dutch, that would be België. In French, that would be La Belgique. And in German, that would be Belgien. Well, of course, in all the 3 languages, plus of course the English language, it is very clear that the name has in all 4 cases the same origin. Under the Roman warlord Julius Caesar, the area that the Romans would call Gallia, there is the northern area they called Belgica. And of all the tribes living in Gallia, the tribe in Belgica was called the Belgae. Well, I guess it is obvious that the name of Belgium in all 4 languages is therefore derived from the Roman name Belgica. Of course, a nice amusing anecdote that many Belgians take pride in is that Julius Caesar has said that of all the tribes living in Gallia, the Belgae were the bravest. Now, he actually never pronounced those words. He wrote them down, I believe, in a journal or something. But it is true that he did therefore say it, not by talking but by writing. Um, of course, this always lightens up the fighting spirit in Belgium, but the truth is it was not the fighting spirit of the Belgae that caused Caesar to say this. He even explained it that of all the people in Gallia, the Belgae were the bravest, for only they were able to survive well, I don't know exactly how he worded it, but it comes down that only the Belgians were able to survive in the very cold, wet, shitty weather that both Belgium and the Netherlands are infamous for. Of course, given the fact that Caesar came from the area that is today known as Italy, and comparing to the Italian weather, it's only quite obvious that that is how he thinks about the weather here. Well, and in Belgium, I will try to break down one city which is in the Dutch speaking part of Belgium, one of the most important cities. And then Antwerp. Antwerp is a city in the northern part of Belgium. It's actually pretty close to the Dutch border. The only spoken language there officially is the Dutch language, and the Dutch name is Antwerpen. Now, I also put the French name there. If you ever go to Belgium and you want to go to Antwerp from the French speaking area due to the big language war going on in Belgium, in the French speaking part, they will always refuse to put the Dutch names of Belgian cities on the road signs, and vice versa. In the Dutch speaking part, they would refuse to put the French names of Belgian cities on the road signs, regardless of the language spoken in the city itself. It is quite ludicrous, as in the French speaking part, they would put Dutch cities, actually located in the Netherlands, on the Dutch signs by their Dutch names, and cities located in France might actually be put on the signs by both their Dutch names and their French names, respectively. But when they are Belgian cities, then in the Dutch-speaking part only the Dutch name, and in the French-speaking part only the French name. And if you don't know that the French name of Antwerp happens to be Anvers, then you can really be led astray. Well, that's put aside. The actual origin of the name Antwerpen, the Dutch name, is actually unknown, but it is well believed that it is most likely coming from Andaverpa, which is Old Franken, and it means something as at the thrown up grounds, which is a kind of a phenomenon that you could easily see at the corner of a river. Well, and if you look at the location of Antwerp, the river de Scheldt, if I pronounce it correctly in English, the Dutch name is de Schelde, makes a turn in Antwerpen. Antwerp is a harbor town, and the river de Schelde is actually also the home of the harbor. So basically, Antwerp owes its entire existence as one of the most important cities of Flanders, the Dutch-speaking part of Belgium, to that river and its harbor. Now, it is nice to note that the origin, the possible origin, as it is all theory, that I just named might be might be the most plausible to be historically correct. However, behind the name of Antwerpen is actually a myth that tells a complete different story. And that the name would actually find its origin in that myth, which is likely not true, but the myth is such a huge part of the entire city of Antwerp, that it might be nice to tell you about it. And according to myth, the River Scheldt would have been terrorized by a giant by the name of Druon Antigoon, who tyrannized all the shipping lanes. And when sailors would refuse to meet his terms, he would just bring down their ships to sink. Now, it has been said that 7 young people, in Dutch known as de Zeven Schaken, would eventually defeat the evil giant, and that Salvius Brabo, the personal weapon blacksmith of Julius Caesar himself, would after this defeat have cut off the giant's hand and thrown it into the Scheldt. And the Dutch word for hand is hand, spelled the same, only pronounced differently. And werpen is a verb that means to throw. And of course, then you will get it, handwerpen. In other words, hand throwing. And of course, a very popular story says that the name Antwerpen would be derived from this myth. Although this is most likely not the case, but like I said, the story was too good to pass up, and that's why I added that to this video. And with that, we have reached the end of this experimental video. I realize I erred too much. I guess one of the things I can do to improve would be to add myself a cueboard or something. But hey, I was just improvising. My research was also quite minimal, as I really spoke of things that I already knew. But I hope you like this, and perhaps I can do more well-researched videos in the future, and maybe even dedicate a separate channel to this, to save this channel for the gaming stuff only. But let me know whenever you can tell me to make this better, then I will be listening, and perhaps I can put something up that might, there I go again, grow into something nice, who knows. It was fun to make this video, and maybe another time, we will see. Goodbye.